50 years ago, in a town, there were twin brothers who unintentionally hurt many people due to their incredible strength and bulletproof abilities. One night, while they were sleeping with their parents, their home was set on fire by people living nearby. Their parents were burnt alive, but the twins managed to escape. The older brother, Samaritan, realized their mistakes and sacrificed his life to protect the city. However, the younger brother, Nemesis, consumed by revenge, killed all the people who killed his parents and wants to control the world. Samaritan tried to stop him, but Nemesis created a powerful hammer that could kill both of them. Eventually, they engaged in a battle at a power plant, and during the fight, the plant exploded, killing them both. In the present day, a 13-year-old boy named Sam lives in a small apartment with his mother, Tiffany. Sam is a fan of Samaritan and draws many pictures of him, believing he is still alive. One day, Sam sees the symbol of Nemesis in the trash bin and decides to draw the symbol of Samaritan over it. Later, Sam's apartment is locked because Tiffany couldn't pay the rent, and he goes to the park. His neighbor, Joe Smith, an old man who repairs old electronics, comes by with a broken radio. Meanwhile, a gangster named Cyrus, who is a fan of Nemesis, has a bunch of thieves and robbers under his control. One of his robbers, Reza, asks Jace to help him rob a store, but Sam ends up doing it and gets blamed for the mistake of stealing the wrong box. Sam claims that he followed their instructions precisely, but Reza becomes enraged and shoves him to the ground. Cyrus arrives and queries Sam about his age. Sam informs him that he is 13, and Cyrus takes a liking to him, giving him $200 and chastising Reza. Sil informs Sam that Cyrus likes him, and Sam returns to his apartment. Meanwhile, Tiffany is attempting to persuade the landlord to unlock her house, promising to pay her rent in 5 days. Sam gives the money to his mother and instructs her to pay the landlord, who then unlocks Tiffany's house. Tiffany inquires about the origin of the money, and Sam manages to concoct a falsehood. The next day, while on his way to school, Reza and his buddies pursue Sam, who runs as fast as he can but is ultimately apprehended. Reza begins to assault Sam, but Joe intervenes, putting an end to the violence. Enraged, Reza punches Joe in the stomach, but Joe retaliates, dispatching Reza's friends with ease. Reza tries to attack Joe with a knife, but Joe crushes it with his bare hands, causing Reza to flee. Joe departs without saying a word. After witnessing Joe's strength and resilience, Sam realizes that he is Samaritan. He uses his binoculars to investigate Joe's apartment and discovers burn scars all over his back, which confirms his suspicions. Meanwhile, Cyrus and his gang masquerade as police officers and break into the police evidence locker, killing the guard with a grenade and stealing the contents of the safe. Cyrus discovers the helmet and hammer of Nemesis and uses the hammer to break down a door, feeling its power. Meanwhile, Sam follows Joe and observes him closely, but Joe eventually asks him to stop. Sam proceeds to sneak into Joe's house through a window and finds a scrapbook filled with Samaritan newspaper clippings, which he takes home with him. When Joe realizes the book is missing, he goes to Sam's house and asks for it back, which Sam returns, claiming to be a big fan. The next day, Sam meets Joe and asks if he is actually Samaritan, to which Joe denies and walks away. However, while on the road, Joe is hit by a car driven by Reza and his friends, causing him to seemingly die. Sam is devastated but witnesses Joe's miraculous recovery as his body heals itself. Joe later explains to Sam that he must eat ice cream and take cold showers to cool down his body and prevent overheating when he is injured, which is how he survived his encounter with Nemesis. Meanwhile, Cyrus takes on the identity of Nemesis and commits numerous crimes with his gang, causing panic and unrest in the city. Joe agrees to teach Sam how to fight, but Sam gets hurt during their training. Sam continues to inquire about Nemesis, which only angers Joe further, leading to Sam leaving his house. Later, Sam is kidnapped by Cyrus and witnesses him killing a cop before escaping and getting injured by Reza. Joe and Reza laid eyes on each other. Joe confessed to admitting Sam to the hospital. Reza informed his friends that the elderly man they hit with their car was still breathing. Cyrus spotted the damaged vehicle and ordered his team to retrieve it. They trailed Joe down a narrow lane and engaged in a physical altercation with him. Joe thoroughly thrashed all of them, tossing them up in the air. They fired their guns at him, but Joe emerged unscathed. Joe pummeled all of them to the ground. A little girl witnessed the whole thing and inquired about his tactics. A crowd began to gather and capture Joe's heroic display on film. Suddenly, a grenade was thrown in his direction. Joe grabbed the girl, leapt from the scene, and flipped over a car, using it as a shield to escape the blast. The grenade exploded, but Joe managed to rescue the girl. News outlets broadcasted the video, announcing that a Samaritan had returned. Joe decided to leave the town. Cyrus watched the footage and went to Joe's home with his crew to apprehend him. However, Joe had already departed. Cyrus trashed the place and caught a glimpse of Sam through Joe's window. Reza confirmed that Joe and Sam were allies. Cyrus demanded that they hand over Sam. Sam and his mother attempted to flee, but Cyrus captured them. Sam declared that the Samaritan would come to rescue him. Meanwhile, Joe waited at the train station. Suddenly, he discovered Sam's watch in his bag and rushed over to Sam's house to return it. Tiffany was weeping in the kitchen. She revealed that Cyrus had taken Sam. Joe became irate, loaded several oil barrels into a truck, and headed towards Cyrus's hideout. The guards tried to prevent the truck's advance. Joe incapacitated them all and rammed the truck into the building. Sam witnessed the spectacle and informed Cyrus that he was going to meet the same fate as Nemesis. The gangsters inside opened fire on Joe from all angles. Nevertheless, Joe overcame many of them. Cyrus showed up and declared that he was going to finish what Nemesis had begun. Joe implored Cyrus to release Sam, but Cyrus refused and attacked Joe with a hammer. Joe falls to the ground as Cyrus repeatedly beats him. He struggles to get back up while Cyrus taunts him, saying that good guys always fall. Cyrus swings his hammer again, but Joe manages to block it and declares that he's not the good guy, he's the fucking bad guy. Cyrus and Sam are shocked to hear this revelation, and it becomes apparent that Samaritan was the one who died in the crash. Nemesis managed to escape the explosion and has been living as Joe. Joe's demeanor shows just how evil he truly is. Suddenly, the oil barrels in the truck explode, killing many of the gangsters including Sil. Joe proceeds to mercilessly kill the remaining gangsters one by one, even as they surround him. He breaks pillars and causes the ceiling to collapse, crushing them all. Joe manages to survive the crash and makes his way towards Cyrus. However, Cyrus handcuffs Sam to a broken pipe and orders his gangsters to plunge the city into darkness. Chaos ensues as the gangsters start killing people, burning buildings and robbing banks. Cyrus dons Nemesis's mask and lets out a feral roar. The building catches fire, and Sam screams for help while Joe engages in a fight with Cyrus. Joe's high temperature causes his heart to race, but he manages to hold his own against Cyrus. Sam breaks free and hits Cyrus from behind, giving Joe the opportunity to use the hammer to subdue him. He lifts Cyrus over his head and throws him off the building, recalling how he let Samaritan die the same way many years ago. However, Joe's heart begins to race again, and he falls to the ground. Sam manages to cool him down and saves him from the collapsing building. As they escape, Sam asks if Joe is really Nemesis, and he confirms that he is. Sam encourages him to change and become a good guy. Outside, reporters ask Sam what happened, and he says that Samaritan saved him. Joe smiles and walks away under a bridge as the movie ends. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing to our channel. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.